So hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast here on YouTube. Give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe on the channel, brought to you by NORD VPN. You can click the link in this podcast description box to get a very exclusive discount offer on your NORD VPN, which just brings you security and peace of mind on all your devices against the hackers and scammers out there. Do click on it, help support the podcast. Newcastle United 1, Arsenal 0, and what a performance from Newcastle United, and it rounds the week off absolutely perfectly. We went into the game against Chelsea saying this is a pivotal week for Newcastle United and Eddie Howe. They put Chelsea to the sword. They come into this game with plenty of selection dilemmas for Eddie Howe, positive selection dilemmas. Who's going to start at centre-back? Who's going to start in the middle? And, you know, that is something Eddie Howe hasn't had in a very long time in terms of players in form. And then they've just played Arsenal off the pitch. You know, it wasn't attacking, exciting football, but it was such a resolute performance. Defensively, they were absolutely superb. Tactically, they had Arsenal's number, and Arsenal, going for the title, just could not get the better of Newcastle United, who must have done their homework. They were brilliant in every area of the pitch. You know, they sat back and absorbed the pressure from Arsenal and then hit on the counter when they could press high and really put the pressure on Arsenal in their own area. They did so and looked dangerous doing so. But I sit here and now I was a little bit wary of Arsenal. Very, very good side. Okay, they haven't been themselves recently, and you look at the game on Wednesday against Chelsea and say superb from Newcastle, but it was a Chelsea side with 11 changes. It wasn't a first choice Chelsea, so it was going to be a much harder task today against Arsenal, who have to bounce back at some point. But you know what? Arsenal did not test Newcastle United at all, and it's very, very it's a testament to Newcastle United when you say Nick Pope was not tested at all. You know, there was a few clearances close to the goal line, but off the top of my head, did Nick Pope have a save to make? No, I think they had one shot on target, but I can't remember ever thinking it's going to hit the back of the net. And Arsenal just never looked threatening. They could pass the ball about, you know, looking nice on the eye, but every time they went down the wings, which is arguably always going to be their main point of threat, Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall, unbelievable. And yet again, we are sitting here saying you could pick 5, 6, 7 names for man of the match and everyone could have a different answer and not be wrong. But Tino Livramento for me today, my man of the match, absolutely superb. Every time Arsenal got down and Newcastle's right, Tino Livramento was there. He wasn't diving in, he was tracking his man, he was, you know, making sure that he was as close as possible. Some really important challenges, some really important blocks. Lewis Hall on the other side as well. Again, every single week he's just getting better and better and better. What a signing he's turned out to be. Livramento, he's had his critics of late. He was caught out against Chelsea last Sunday, so there was talk that maybe Emil Kraft could start this afternoon, and he didn't. He stuck with Tino Livramento, which I thought he would do, and Tino Livramento did an absolute job on I think it was Martinelli on the left, wasn't it, and Saka on the other side. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant from Newcastle United. The goal itself, well, Newcastle United at their flowing best. You know, the ball's won in the middle from pressing the Arsenal midfield and defence. It goes out to the wide. And what I actually really loved about it, apart from it hitting the back of the net, is the fact that Isak picks the ball up, he passes it to a fellow Newcastle United teammate, and then that ball then eventually goes out to Gordon on the right. And Isak continues his run, and often we don't see that. This isn't specifically about Isak, but often we don't see players continuing their run. You know, they just stop and admire maybe what they've done, but Isak continues the run in the box. It is a superb cross by Anthony Gordon. I mean, unbelievable ball in the box. It's a superb header into the back of the net. Beautiful, beautiful goal. And Newcastle really were the only side that ever looked like adding to their lead. You had Joe Willock early in the second half. He didn't get too much power behind the ball. Good run though. You then had Alexander Isak, and it didn't look like he got too much power behind his effort from distance, but hey, it was a fantastic save by Rhea, and it was looking like it was going to end up in the back of the net. And Joe Linton had an effort towards the end of the game, again an easy save for Rhea, but they looked like the only side really close to adding to their tally. Again, Arsenal just kept quiet. They couldn't break down Newcastle United, and just a superb performance from Newcastle. And I'm really happy that they've won. You know, obviously that's the main goal, but I'm happier that they've won. And there's no controversy. You know, Mikel Arteta cannot complain about a single thing today. There's no question whether the ball was in, the ball was out. You know, nothing wrong with Newcastle United's goal at all. Nothing in terms of decisions which have gone their way. I actually thought the referee had a poor game for both sides. I thought he was given silly fouls for nothing really, and I think the performance from the referee was not good at all. But in terms of a penalty or what have you, or a handball, there was nothing controversial in today's game that Arteta can complain about. Newcastle United were just better than Arsenal. They wanted it more. They were set up better. They had more drive. They had more want for victory, and Arsenal were just really, really, really poor. And I have to say, if you're battling for the title, that is a performance which you'll be irate about. I mean, that was not a title-winning performance at all by Arsenal. You know, if you were looking at that game in isolation, you'd probably put Newcastle ahead of Arsenal in the title, in the table. And obviously that's not the case. But Newcastle United now just 3 points behind Arsenal. Of course, a host of games to play this afternoon, but they're up to 8th, and it's amazing, isn't it? We were talking about crisis, and here we are, Newcastle United up to 8th. Excuse me, up to 8th. And it's amazing how quickly things can turn around. But what a week it's been for Newcastle United. They needed this week. They needed the victory against Chelsea. They needed a victory now. Their winless run in the Premier League is over. St James' part of the power of the fans. And, we always talk about this place being a fortress, and Brighton obviously won here last time out. It was important that they got a victory here as soon as possible. Just a brilliant, brilliant afternoon. I'm going to have to cough again. I do apologise. That winter flu. Sorry about that. St James' Park, magical again, crowd right behind the players, and the players, really getting the crowd up for this game. Selection-wise, the starting 11, was I shocked Tonali started? I was. I thought Tonali would have been the one guaranteed to start, as it was. He was on the bench in Longstaff and Willock. Either side of Bruno. The midfield three did really well. I thought Willock again, another top performance for him. I thought Sean Longstaff did everything he was asked of. That kind of dirty work, some really important interceptions, very close, or not, even if not in his own box. I thought he did really well. And we talked about him being the balance, maybe being the unwanted answer to the midfield. Again, he's putting in a fantastic performance, and it's very hard to see Sean Longstaff come out of that side, if I'm being totally honest with you, because I think he does offer the balance that allows the other players to tick. And look, when Tonali came on, I thought he made a real difference. He had pace about him, strength about him. He came on with a job to do to clear up and try and take Newcastle United further up the pitch, because they were a bit penned in, and I thought he did that. I thought he was really good. He was physical. He was, when they had the ball, there was a bit of pace about him, moving with the ball. I thought he did really, really well. We mentioned there Joe Willock. I mean, Joe Linton again, absolute man mountain. He was all over the place in terms of the positions he was playing, sometimes dropping back, sometimes on the right, sometimes over the left, sometimes in the middle. But just the strength of him, he was up for the battle, which was really important. Another really good performance from him. Anthony Gordon, the assist, absolutely brilliant. But again, he's got the running power about him. He looks like the man of last season, and I felt that would always happen once his future was sorted with the new deal. Gets his head focused a little bit, and again, brilliant today. Really, really good. Look, again, as I say, you could choose one of several players to be man of the match. Let me know in the comments who was your man of the match, because I've said Tino, but you would not be wrong to choose Hall, Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff maybe for some. Really, really, really good from Newcastle United. And again, they've shown against the top sides in the league that they can handle them, and they can go toe-to-toe with them, especially here at St James's Park. So fantastic to see that. Fantastic win. And isn't it nice just to be positive about Newcastle United? They've got to keep building on it. I'm not saying it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows from here, because, things can still, revert back to how it was. But you feel now they've got a bit of momentum. They go up against Nottingham Forest, don't they? I think it's the next game, isn't it? Obviously West Ham sometime in November. They've got a good run now after that international break as well, heading up to Christmas to really set the tone for this season. And there's no reason why they can't go on from here. On a bit of a run. They've got that momentum. Yeah, it's Sunday the 10th for Forest. Then it's Monday the 25th for West Ham here at St James Park on a Monday night. So one more game before the international break. It's going to be a tough game against Forest. They are flying high, obviously with Elliot Anderson and Chris Wood in their side, but some real talented players. But I feel a lot felt more comfortable going into that game at the City ground next Sunday on the back of this week and on the back of a tremendous win against Arsenal. For as much as they are poor, still one of the best sides in the Premier League, no doubt in that. I'm not going to actually say they didn't turn up today. I'm going to say Newcastle United just had their number from the word go, and Arsenal had absolutely no answer for them. No doubt about this, Newcastle United deserved the winners. Arsenal couldn't handle it. Eddie Howe, fantastic setup tactically, got it down to an absolute T. He knew exactly what would get the better of Arsenal. He did it again. Second successive win against Arsenal at home, absolutely fantastic. He will have a wonderful weekend before preparing for that game against Forest. What a win for Newcastle United. Brilliant all-round performance. We saw again two sides of Newcastle United sitting back and absorbing, high press, clinical when the chances come. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What a Saturday here at St James's Park. All hail the early kickoff. Their winless run is over. Newcastle United now just 3 points behind supposed title challengers Arsenal. Brilliant. Hit subscribe, give a thumbs up to the video, and I'll see you guys very soon.